All right, now without further ado, we have discussion of opportunity zones from Dayton, the opportunity zones. We have Chris Wimsass and we have Monica Jones, and they're going to discuss that to us. So let's give them a warm Greater Dayton Area welcome.
So I'm with the City Manager's Office in the City of Dayton, and Chris is with the Department of Procurement Management and Budget. We are excited about the program, hope that we are able to answer your questions. I don't know where all of you are starting with your Opportunity Zone knowledge. How many of you have done some amount of research or feel somewhat familiar with the program?
You gotta have them.
Good amount. How many are just like better, somewhat better? How many are just curious, you've heard about it but know nothing about it or know very little? Okay. Stop us, because we weren't sure what place to start from, so we did a little bit of background, but certainly stop us as Chris is talking. He'll be doing most of the presentation, but we're happy to answer questions as we roll through the presentation. And hopefully we start back far enough to answer some of your questions. But like I said, give us a wave if you need to stop and answer questions. The city went after 20 tracks through the program, and Chris can kind of outline the process and the eligibility. We were able to get 17 census tracts, which is the designation, the geographic boundary that was outlined by the tax program. So we couldn't just draw the boundaries ourselves. We had to go by the tax code or by the legislation, which was census tracts. So we've got 17 census tracts that are qualified opportunity zones, and super excited. We've grouped them by 8 distinct regions, or groupings, I guess, by assets, and Chris will kind of go into detail about the work that we've done and the areas that are in Dayton's opportunity zones.
Great. Can everybody hear me? I don't know if this is working.
It's gotta go up a little bit closer to you.
A little bit closer. How about?
Still not working. Did you turn it
How
on?
about now?
There you go.
Is this all right?
How to
Okay.
help?
So anyway, thanks again for having us. This is interesting. An interesting opportunity to talk about opportunity zones. One thing I usually start out with is I say that it's almost impossible to talk about opportunity zones and not overuse the word opportunity. So I'm going to do that a little bit. Sorry. But it's going to happen. So first of all, I want to tell you a little bit about the program. I want to tell you about where it came from, what it is, what it means, and then also what it means to Dayton, what some of the unique value propositions are of the zones in Dayton, how you can get involved, and then how that can help the community and also lead to equitable community outcomes, and why those two things aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. So first of all, everybody here knows Dayton. Sorry, our aspect ratio is a little bit off as well, so some things may have gotten crunched off the slide, or they're all different, so you can never make it universal. But everybody here knows about Dayton. It's Ohio's 4th most populous region. We define our region as being the 3-county metropolitan statistical area plus Clark County. So that would be Clark County, Montgomery County, Greene County, and Miami County. So it's the 4-county region. Anchor is the 4th largest economy, and it's known for providing the world with a world-staggering number of innovations and inventions. It's also home to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, home of the largest single-site employer in the state of Ohio, and also an anchor of innovation in and of itself. We've got an ongoing tradition of innovation. We're within a one-day drive of 60% of the American population, hundreds of millions of people. And we're at the crossroads of Interstate 70 and 75. I don't have to tell you guys about this, but that's just kind of an overview of Dayton. And for those of you who aren't familiar, I'm sure very few of you aren't familiar with the challenges that Dayton has faced over the last several decades. In the late 1960s, Dayton hit a population peak that turned into a pretty big peak because the population decline thereafter ended up being fairly significant. And between 1970 and 1990, Dayton lost over 1/3 of its population, and probably more than that from a proportion standpoint of its jobs. So beginning in the late 1990s, city leaders started getting together and trying to find ways that we could partner with nonprofits and private entities in and around the community to anchor investment and drive dollars that were going to be coming anyway, drive dollars into concentrated spaces in order to create equitable outcomes. So as a result of these partnerships, things have started to pay off. Investments like the Schuster Center, investments like Riverscape, and investments like the baseball diamond, we've started to see kind of a turn of the corner in some of the places in and around downtown. So we've sort of pivoted now, and we want we want to pivot and start guiding some of these investments in places that aren't just in downtown, but that are also in the outlying neighborhoods, because that's really how